Hi, I'm Joy Kelly. Welcome to another holiday edition of Cook with Joy. And this week we've been showing you little pieces that you can put together to make your own Thanksgiving feast. When my family started moving towards a plant-based diet back in 2006, we started converting our Thanksgivings away from being centered on having this great big turkey or a ham or anything like that. And we were introduced to a completely plant-based Thanksgiving meal at Real Food Daily, a recipe book that's published by the people who own the restaurant down in Los Angeles. I think there's 3 locations. And they made faux turkey breasts and mashed potatoes and gravy, because if you think about it, what you really like for Thanksgiving are all the extra little things. It's not the actual bird that people look for. They're looking for the fun trimmings. So we focused on those fun trimmings, and I'm not going to show you how to make all of those, but you can get Real Food Daily's cookbook and you can make some of those recipes yourself. But today I'm going to show you my personal rendition of the favorite part of Thanksgiving for me, and that's stuffing. Now, my family doesn't eat gluten, and there's a lot of reasons not to eat gluten. Some people, most experts actually say that it contributes to inflammation, that it contributes to autoimmune disorders, definitely can contribute to the loss of the nerve.
Myelin sheath.
Yes, the myelin sheath. Definitely can contribute to the loss of that myelin sheath. And so I've moved towards not having gluten. I don't ever feel that I'm intolerant, but it's so easy to convert. So we're going to do that today. And I'm going to show you how to make this yourself, and it has become probably the favorite part of our Thanksgiving meal. So we're going to start out with leeks. And if you don't know what a leek is, it's part of the onion family once again. Once again, really high in quercetin. All the onion family are really high in quercetin, which is an antioxidant that does amazing things. You could buy it as a supplement at the store, but why not just eat it as a food and get all of the things that go with it. So I cut the leek in half, and I am just going to cut it into now quarters. So they're really kind of thinly sliced. And in the back, I have melted a little bit of butter, and we're just going to add the leeks to that butter. So I'm just going to add all the leeks, and you might want to take off the outer leaves. Sometimes the outer leaves will trap some dirt. If you get them already packaged, like from Trader Joe's, they don't have that, but these are fresh from some grocery store, and they had to have their leaves peeled back a little bit. I like to get the really bright green outer leaves, which the ones packaged at Trader Joe's don't have. The darker the green, the higher the nutrient level, and I just think they look really pretty too. So I'm going to take all of those and dump them in that melted, and I'm not using butter, I'm using Earth Balance. And you could use coconut oil, you could use ghee, you could use any type of oil, or even broth if you'd like. Okay, so next I'm going to add cut up butternut squash. And I've been making this recipe for years, and I buy the whole butternut squash and cut it up myself, until finally someone said to me, you can buy this already cut up. And oh my gosh, it has saved me so much time, I can't even tell you. So I'm going to dump this whole package in with the leeks and the melted Earth Balance. So next, the recipe that I was devising this from called for sausage, and it called for fennel sausage, which I'm not going to use, but I did find this sausage alternative that is that's made by Field Roast, and it has fennel in it, and it really, really works well. Say you can't find the Field Roast alternative, find any substitute that you like and add some fresh fennel to it, and this will give you a lot of nutrition as well as big flavor. I love, love, love fennel.
Is there any meat in that?
In the fennel?
No, in the sausage.
Not in this sausage. No, there is not. No meat at all, young man, and definitely no meat in the fennel either. So we're going to just cut this up, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with the leeks. I like to get that consistency of how things look. So these are going to be cut in half. And then I'm just going to cut them in these little half moons. And because this is not real meat, this doesn't really have to be cooked, but I'm going to put it in with the butter and the leeks and the squash, just so it kind of gets that flavor, which is going to be awesome. I think we're going to love it. Okay, and I'm adding that now. Okay, so one of the fun things about the holidays, of course, is having a cocktail or a glass of wine. And on one of our other episodes, we showed how to make the holiday eggnog. So I'm going to have a sip right now. Cheers.
Is there any booze in that?
I'm not telling. I'm not disclosing that. Okay, So the big part about making stuffing is you got to use bread, right? Well, what are you going to do if you are not doing gluten? You're going to find someone that makes gluten-free bread. Now, there are several alternatives that you can buy in the grocery store, but here in Boulder, I found this local variety made by Kim and Jake's, and they're little. I usually use focaccia for this, and I ended up having to use little buns that I then cut up into little cubes. So this is how it looks. But the bun actually was just a little rounded bun, and it was made with olive oil and thyme. So that was about as close to the original recipe as I could. And I'm just going to cut them into smallish pieces. And I'm going to add this to the pan as well. Now the final major ingredient in this is kale, and I grow my own kale, so I haven't bought any greens in a store now for about 4 years. And I went and bought this bunch, and it's really pretty, but then I saw that I could get pre-packaged, already washed, cut up kale in several varieties, and I said, wow, I'd be crazy not to get that. So I'm going to add that to the pan too, and you should come on over and see it because it's really starting to look pretty. And you got to see this because it's really looking pretty. Look at the orange and the green, and now we're going to add the kale, and it's going to be just even more beautiful. And we're going to add this in, and you know, I could just stop there if I wanted to, but I want more nutrition, and kale is supposed to be the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. So I'm going to add a wide variety. I've got mixed baby kale as well as Tuscan kale. I am not a huge fan of curly kale. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a big fan of it. So I'm not going to use any, adult baby kale. I mean, adult curly kale. I'm just using adult Tuscan and then the mixed baby kales. I'm going to put the cover back on it and let it wilt a little bit. It's going to be good. So the next stage in this is I've got to add a little liquid to make it a little moister. I could add more butter, but that's just going to add more fat. So I'm going to add broth. I like this vegetarian no chicken broth because it kind of gives you that feeling of, oh, it could be Thanksgiving, right? And that's what we're doing. So I'm going to use a little bit of that and a little bit of veggie broth, and we're going to add that to the mixture. Okay, lastly, the recipe calls for an egg, but because we're not going to use any animal products in this, I'm going to use egg replacer, and I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons to 2 tablespoons of warm water, and I'm just going to mix it up, and it's going to be just like an egg. So I'm just going to mix this up until it really does get the consistency of egg whites, but because it's sticking to the bowl a little bit, I'm probably going to throw a little bit of broth in there just to get it to be a little more liquid and to go over my concoction a little bit better. I'll just add a little bit of broth, and I think it'll make it a little more liquidy, and it'll go over my mixture a little bit easier. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is basically the finished product. I'm just going to fold this into a cooking sheet, and I could put some faux Parmesan over the top of it, maybe a little bit of faux shredded cheddar if I wanted, and I probably will do that. I'm going to add some salt and pepper, and that's it. That's a really, really, really pretty fast, simple stuffing dish that I think that your friends and family are going to love, and they're not ever going to ask you to go back to traditional stuffing. And this is, you see how beautiful this is, the oranges, the greens. I mean, these are all the things that you want to be getting in your diet. Every bright color represents a whole family of vitamins, minerals, nutrients that your body needs, wants, and that's why those beautiful colors call to us. They're very appealing. Okay, now this got a little bit brown. Luckily, I've got another pan that I can do, but it's still going to be delicious. It's going to be a little crunchy on top. Notice I have the parchment paper underneath, so I haven't ruined this pan. I didn't use any oil underneath it, and this is going to make a great accompaniment to any holiday meal that you could make, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, you name it, Easter. This is a great dish that I think you're going to have as one of your favorite standards. And that wraps up our holiday Cook with Joy for this season. And I hope you really enjoyed it. Please share it with other people and tune in for our regularly scheduled episodes of Cook with Joy. Happy holidays.